Hi everyone, I'm Cloud. Before we begin, just a quick reminder. This video is for informational purposes only and reflects my personal views. It does not constitute financial advice. The cryptocurrency market carries high risks. Please do your own research and consult a professional advisor before investing. Any predictions or analysis mentioned in this video may not be accurate, and you are solely responsible for your investment decisions. I'm not liable for any financial losses.
Let's first review last week's market performance before we dive into the outlook for next week. Last week was from July 21st to July 28th. For Bitcoin, the weekly high closed at 120,247, but none of the upside targets were hit. The weekly low was 114,723, which hit one downside target and came close to the second. Looking at the current trend, it seems like the market followed the first version of the forecast, where bearish momentum was expected from the 23rd to the 26th, continuing until the 27th. On the 22nd, we saw a bullish candle that looked like it was going to push up, but on the 23rd, it got pushed right back down. I've made some updates for the August outlook, which we'll get into in a bit. Now let's talk about Ethereum. The weekly high closed at 3,860, which hit the first target and came within 30 points of the second. Last week, we already said it probably wouldn't hit $4,000 and would stay between the first and second targets, and that's exactly what happened. Still, Ethereum showed impressive strength and almost reached that second target. The weekly low was 3,502, and it didn't even touch the midline this week. Last week we mentioned that Ethereum wouldn't give us a super low entry anymore. Around $3,000 is pretty much the bottom. And indeed, it didn't even dip to the midline. Meanwhile, altcoins were clearly dropping this week, but Ethereum stayed strong. Because of this strength, most people are bullish that Ethereum will break through $4,000 in July. I actually ran a poll 6 days ago asking, will Ethereum break $4,000 this July? A total of 118 people voted so far, and the result was overwhelmingly bullish. So whether ETH will hit $4,000 next week is a big focus right now. Personally, I'm quite optimistic about the breakout too. But I still think it's a bit tricky. Normally, market makers don't like to go with the crowd so easily. When I previously did a poll about Bitcoin hitting 120k, the response wasn't this heated, and the votes weren't as one-sided. So maybe this is just the natural momentum of the market, but still, it's important to stay cautious. Even if Ethereum does break $4,000, it'll likely take some time to stabilize above it. We can clearly see there's heavy resistance overhead. That's why it's very likely that Ethereum might break out, then dip again before recovering. Now, let's revisit what we discussed last week about altcoins. We said you can look to buy when the price pulls back to the 7-day, 14-day, or 20-day moving averages, as long as those levels hold. I personally sold ADA back on July 13th, so I missed the following moves. I started looking for other altcoin opportunities and found one with SUI. I noticed SUI hadn't broken the previous high, so when it pulled back to the 20-day line, I entered. Today, it pumped and has already broken past its previous high. So I'm bullish on both SUI and ADA right now. My plan now is to accumulate and hold until liftoff, instead of chasing short-term trades. This also helps me spend less time staring at the charts. As for this current altcoin season, I wasn't really sure what triggered it at first. After watching a few analysts, I learned that one good way to judge altcoin season is by looking at Bitcoin dominance. When BTC dominance drops significantly again, that's probably when altcoins will really take off. I won't go into detailed levels for next week, I'll just show them on screen here, so feel free to take a screenshot. Bitcoin needs to hold above 117,650 to aim for upside targets. Ethereum needs to hold above 3,700 to look for higher moves. Since Bitcoin hasn't really pulled back much in late July, I think the correction may come in August. Key dates to watch: July 27-28, possible bounce until August 1, overall weakness. August 7-11, another potential dip. August 12-16, another push upward. If there are any updates, I'll post them in shorts. Here's an update on the new extended upside targets. If all the weekly high targets suddenly get hit and the price doesn't stop climbing, then we're looking at the next major zones. Bitcoin could reach 135,300. Ethereum could go up to 4,260. So just keep these levels in mind in case we see a strong breakout without a pause. Lastly, since prices have already gone up quite a bit, it's time to update our key support levels. For Bitcoin, support is now around 106,500. For Ethereum, it's somewhere between 3,000 and 2,600. You don't need to be exact with entry points, just aim for the general range. Don't stress about catching the perfect price. Alright, that's it for today. Weekly forecasts should never be viewed alone. They must be combined with daily and monthly charts. The daily charts fill in what the weekly might miss. I wish you all the best. May you buy at the bottom and sell at the top. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you found this helpful. Send this to your friends too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.